Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us once again. So we are in the series 3, which is Archicad and now Archicad and simulation. So we are going to see the topic wind simulation today. So last week, for people who have not joined last week, so we saw 4D and 5D simulation, and this series is all going to be about simulation using Archicad model. Okay, so on this week we are going to see wind simulation. On wind simulation we are going to see like wind tunnel effect analysis and then the wind row study using the Archicad model. Okay, so let's see the agenda for today. So before we go into the simulation, we are going to see how to do some mass modeling in Archicad so that we can use that mass model to perform the simulation using Grasshopper. So we have direct connection with Archicad and Rhino. So there is a direct connection with Grasshopper. We are going to choose the morph from the Archicad, and then we are going to perform the simulation within the Rhino Grasshopper, and then the results of those simulation will be brought inside Archicad. So we are going to document all these simulation results within Archicad itself. So that's the main agenda here. So let me just go to the next slide. So yeah. All right, so let me just introduce you guys with mass modeling. So for mass modeling, we mainly use the morph tool. So we have the morph tool here under the design tools. So using the morph tool, we can create the mass model. So I'm just going to create a very simple mass model. Okay, so let me go to the floor plan. So you can see here I've set the stories already. So the first step of this mass modeling is to set the stories. So you need to create all the stories and then you have to give the corresponding heights of each story so that you can continue with the mass modeling. Okay, so for the morph tool, so if in case you want to do any settings here, you can customize the settings. For me, let's just use the default one, and then later I'll change the surface overrides, or I'll just change the paint of the surfaces to make it look like a real building. Okay, so let me just first draw it. So I'm going to use this geometry method, which is rectangular. Okay, so let me just key in 5000 by 5000 for now. Okay, so I'm going to create two more of this shape. So let me just copy this over. So I'm using this copy multiple. So click Control and Alt so that you'll just you can multiply and copy. Okay, so let me just go to the 3D view now and then see my model. So here you can see it's just a surface. So I've just created three surfaces. So I'm just going to extrude them. So just click on one of the surfaces, or I can just click all three and then click on the surface. And then I can use this tubular on the pet palette, or push pull on the pet palette. So I can just push it until the story. Okay. All right. So let's just make it 5000. I guess I've drawn this on the roof story. So let me just move this, or just link it to the home story, which is the ground floor or the level 1. Okay, so I'm just linking it with the level 1 because I drew it on the roof. Okay, so now I can just go below. Yeah, so currently my all three mods are in level 1. Okay, so I can go to level 2 now, and then I can just use again the morph tool. Okay, so I'm here in level 2. So if in case I want to draw any lift core or anything, right? So similarly, I'll just use the same rectangular method, and then I will just draw the lift core. I'm just randomly drawing the locations, but you can just key in your values that you have. So let me just make it 1750. Okay, so similarly, if I go to 3D, so I can see here the surface that I just drew. So I can just move this. So when I extrude this, or which is push or pull, you can see you have this story markers here. So you can choose the marker until which you want to extrude this. Okay, so I can just simply move this below and then bring it to the ground level. Okay, so let me go back to the level 2 and then let me draw the building. Okay, so again using the morph tool, I'm going to start from here. Now let me use this polygonal tool and then I'm starting from here. I'm just keying in the values so that the surface can be created. Okay, so now the surface is created. Let me go back to 3D and then again I can just push this. So click on the surface, so you'll be able to push it until the level that you want. So for me, I just want to push it until level 12, and then let me just use the same one, and then I copy it to the other level. So by using the control key pressed, so you can copy, you can move a copy. Okay, so now I just left one level here, and then I copied this model. Okay, so I can just adjust this height until the roof level. Okay, so if you want to adjust the size, you can adjust as well. So here I'm just adjusting the sides to make it a little smaller than the bottom portion. Okay, all right, so now the inside portion, which is the core, I just want to change the material to something like generic structural or maybe concrete or whatever. Okay, and I want to change this the building portion, this one to membrane vapor barrier. But if in case you have any other material that you want to apply to, you can apply as well. So on the bottom also, I'll just change this to membrane vapors to just make it look like a curtain wall. Okay, so now I need to create slabs so that if in case you want to schedule the floor area for each of these stories, you can use the slab to schedule that as well. So for using the slab, just select the slab. I'm selecting it and then change the structure to simple structure, and then you can choose the material and then the thickness of the slab. So let me just make it 175, and then I'm going to use the magic wand. Let me just go to the story 2 and then draw this. Okay, I'm just using the magic wand here. So I'm using the magic wand to draw the slab. Okay, so if I go to 3D, so I can see the slab here. Okay, so now to copy this slab to multiple stories, you can use this method. Like you can click on the stories and then you can see here edit element by stories. Just select the slab and then go to edit element by stories. Okay, so now I'll be able to copy the slab to the multiple stories here. So I'm going to uncheck all of these and then have only the slab selected. Okay, and then I'm copying it from level 2 and I want to copy it until level 12. Okay, so I copied it until level 12. Okay, just click OK. All right, so you can see here the slabs are copied. And similarly, just go to the level 13, and then here again using the magic wand, you can use the slab. So press and hold the space bar so that you'll get the magic wand symbol, and then you can click on the boundary in which you want to create the slab. Okay, so let me go to the 3D again, and then I can see my slab here. I can go to the stories here, right click, edit element by stories, and then from level 13, I can copy this to all the stories above level 13. Okay, let me just click OK. All right, yeah. So you can see here, I've created the building, and if in case you want to change the surface of each of these morphs, so what you can do is you can change the cursor here to an empty cursor, and then you'll be able to select the individual um, surfaces of the morph, and then you can go inside the settings and then use the surface painter. So you can see you have the surface, and then you can select any particular surface that you want to apply to the morph. Say for example, if I want to make this the grass surface, right? So I can just go here to the settings, select it, and then I can make this grass. Okay, so this way you can easily model your morphs, and then if in case you want to merge all the morphs as a single morph, you can just select this morph tool and then click Control A or Command A, and then you can simply right click on empty space. I think the slabs are also selected. Okay, so you can convert all. Okay, so let me just move this to this one, select all. So I've changed the cursor to a normal cursor and then select the morph and then right click, and then you will have this Boolean option union. Okay, so earlier I was using a different cursor, so I was not able to find this option. So using the Boolean operation, I can union all of this together as a single morph, and then I can use it for simulations now. Okay. All right, so let me just go back to the presentation. All right, so we have created our building using the mass modeling, but during the simulations, we might need to have the context of the building, which is the surrounding of the building in your project location. So from your project location. So for that, we are using this CAD Mapper website where you can download the context of your building. So you will be able to download the roads, the nearby surfaces, nearby buildings and all that um, to a certain level of accuracy. Okay, so let me show that. So you can see here, so if you scan the QR code that I was showing earlier, you can go to this CAD Mapper website where you can just sign in, and then you'll be able to download the project location within 1 square kilometer. So if it goes beyond 1 square kilometer, you need to pay for it. But if it is within 1 square kilometer, it is a free file. So you can see here, if I just make it, so you can see now it is 2.57 square kilometers. So it's I need to purchase for this. So if it is lesser, you can simply use this method, and then you can see here you can use Archicad. By when you're using Archicad, you will download the file in the XF file format, but you need to set up the translators in a specific way to import the 3D model. So what we are doing is we are using Rhino file format. So using Rhino file format, you can directly import or merge without any translators. Okay, so you can see I'm using the Rhino 5 method, and then in order to choose these topography. So if you want to export the topography as well along with the 3D buildings, or you can choose one. So if you just want the topography without the buildings, you can just uncheck this, and then you can check this topography if you want. And also for the road geometry, so you can see here, you can just have the outer center lines or the outlines, or you can even create a mesh surface of the roads. So let's just have outlines. So if I just zoom out, you can see here, you can just export, or you can download the context from anywhere around the world. So you can just zoom into your project location, and then make sure you're just within 1 square kilometer, so that you'll not need to pay for this. Okay, so let me just make it a little smaller. So you can see here, once my project, I have just squared that to that location, you can go to create file. So once the file is created, you'll be able to download from here. So you can see we have the download option, and it has all the context around the building as well. Okay, so once you download it, it is a zip file which you need to export. So you need to unzip this or extract this, and then you can use it inside your project. Okay, so let's just go back to Archicad, and let's see how to import this. Okay, so let me just move this aside. So I have only my morph model that I just created, or the mass modeling that I just did. So you can go to file, interoperability, merge from file. So merge from file is active only when you're from 2D. So let's just go back to 2D, and then from here, let me select the file. All right, yeah. So you can see here, this is the file that I've downloaded, and I have already unzipped it. So it is a 3DM file, which is a Rhino model file. So I can select this and then click open. So it will import the context. All right, the context is imported. Let me just go to 3D. Yeah, you can see here the context is placed at the origin. So if you select this, these are objects. Okay, so all of them are objects here. So you can simply select all of them, and then you can just right click and then make it as a morph. Okay, so if in case you want to edit it, or if you want to use it for any other purpose, like just now I told, right, for simulation, it is better to convert it to a morph, so that it's easy to get the geometry from Archicad into the Rhino-Grasshopper. Okay, so just click convert to morph, and then you can just move this or rotate this to a location that you need, and then you can just place your model in the exact location where you want to place them, the mass modeling. Okay, so you can see here my mass modeling is currently at the origin. I can just move it to anywhere around this place if in case this is my site location. Okay, so that you will have all the context of the project, so that which can be used for wind simulation or even for sun simulation as well. Okay, all right, so let me just go to the presentation. All right, so the next is we are going to see the wind tunnel effect analysis. So let's just see how to do that. So the geometries, as I told earlier, we need to get the morphs from Archicad, and also we need to get the wind data. So this wind data for each location can be get using the weather URL. So later I'll show you how to get this. And then we are going to use the Ladybug plugin along with Butterfly. So Butterfly is one of the Ladybug plugins as well. So on the background, this Butterfly plugin is using the OpenFOAM CFD libraries to do the analysis. So you need to install the OpenFOAM library as well. So currently, I'm not going to show you how to install all this, but if in case you want to, if you need any help, please reach out to us so that we can help you on that. Okay. So if you scan this QR code here, it will take you to the Ladybug plugin from where you can download the butterfly and the other ladybug tools. Okay, so for installing OpenFOAM, please contact us if in case you guys need any help. All right, so once you perform the simulation within the Rhino-Grasshopper using these plugins, we are going to get the result of this simulation within Archicad for documentation. Okay, so we are going to see how to do that. So let me go to my Rhino. All right, so but before that, let me just show my model here. So here is my model, which I'm going to do the wind tunnel effect study. So you can see here, I have this mass model that I created and I have copied it so that I'm going to have these three buildings for my study. And also I can see I have the context around it. Okay, so I have the context around it. I'm not going to use these contexts. So already I have three buildings here. So I'm just going to use these three buildings. But if in case you want to use the context also for your simulation, along with these marks, you can select the context so that you will have wind tunnel effect analysis for the entire area of the buildings that you have selected. Okay, so let me go to Rhino. So here is my script. So let me just zoom out. I'll just go portion by portion. So the first one is where I'm choosing the mod from my Archicad. Okay. So for establishing the connection with Rhino-Grasshopper, you can go to Windows, Palettes, and then from here you can choose the Grasshopper connection. Okay, so once you open that, you will have option to start the connection. So if the grasshopper is running on the background, it will automatically connect to the grasshopper. So you can see here, for now my Archicad is connected to this wind tunnel effect grasshopper file. Okay, so my wind tunnel effect grasshopper file is this one. So you can see here the name. So this is the wind tunnel effect grasshopper file. So Archicad is connected. So now I'll be able to choose multiple morphs from here. So you can see I have already selected the three morphs that I showed earlier. So I have selected them, and then the geometry of this morph is converted into a the ladybug geometry, the butterfly geometry. Okay, so I'm using this node to do that, and then once my geometry is created, I need to create a wind tunnel for this. Okay, for wind tunnel, I'm not going to explain each and every node here, but I will try to explain the concept behind this so that you can understand it. But if in case you want to implement this later, please reach out to us so that we can help you in person for your projects. Okay, so here you can see here I'm creating a tunnel, and then I'm going to visualize the tunnel here. So let me just right click and show preview. So here is my building, and if I zoom out, you can see this is the tunnel that has been created by the butterfly nodes that we have connected. Okay, so you can see here at the location where the building is there, the mesh is a little closer. Okay, so that's how the CFD analysis is done. So let me just go here and then turn off the preview for this so that I can show the next one. So the next one is to create the mesh for the buildings itself. So along with the tunnel, we are going to create the mesh for the buildings. So let me just right click and then show preview here on this result. Okay, I need to run this. All right, the simulation is running. It may take a little longer, but the thing that here I want to explain is if you're doing this kind of simulation where it is performing huge calculations on the background using the CFD libraries, try to have a minimum polygon on your morphs. So as minimum as possible so that the mesh that has been created from your morph will not be heavier for performing the simulation on the background. Okay. It's still running. All right, maybe in the meanwhile, I'll try to explain from where you get the weather URL for the wind data. So later I'll show you how to input that. But while the simulation is running, I can show you the weather URL. So you can just search for Ladybug weather URL. You will get this EPW map. So once you open this EPW map, it will take you to this map from where you can get the weather URL for each of these locations, which are shown as dots here. Okay, so let's just zoom into Singapore. So normally these weather URL or weather data are available on airports or on air bases. So you can see here we have Paya Lebar and then from Selatar and then on Changi as well. So you can click this. You can see if I click on this Paya Lebar site, so you can download the weather data from here, or you can simply copy link to clipboard. So you can do both. So here I'm using copy link to clipboard so that I can just copy this value and then I can use it inside my Grasshopper script. Okay, so it's still running. I think it's still running. Sorry about that. Okay, let me try to stop this. Normally, these kind of simulations where it's performing all these calculations with CFD libraries, it will take a longer time. So you need to have a little advanced machines to perform these kind of simulations. So the powerful machines are to be used for simulations. Still not able to stop it. All right, so yeah, so I'll just go back to this wind tunnel effect, and I have the results already inside this model. Maybe I'll try to show the results, how it looks. Maybe later once the simulation is done, I will show you how I achieve the result. Okay, so let me just turn on my layer and then show the results here. So you can see here the wind directions are shown using the arrows that we have created. So these arrows are normally these arrows are let me select one of these. Yeah, so these arrows are objects that we have created, and then the length of these arrows are relative to the wind's velocity. So the velocity of the wind is directly translated to the length of these arrows. Say for example, you can see here some of the arrows here are smaller, which means that the wind here is much slower, so the velocity of the wind here is low. Okay, and also we have tried to show the higher velocity ones with a different color, which is using the green color. So you can see here, so the green color ones are with higher velocity. Okay, so if I select these arrows here, you can go here to the settings and then I can show you how the input of these arrows are coming from Grasshopper. So you can see I have the Grasshopper checkbox turned on, and then the geometry, which is the length. This length is coming from the Grasshopper plugin. So this value is entered by Grasshopper, and also the rotation. So the rotation normally is the direction at which the wind blows, right? So this rotation is also coming from Grasshopper, and also the color. So the RGB value of this surface of this arrow is coming from Grasshopper also. So these are the five values which are coming from Grasshopper, which is length, rotation, um, the color, which is red, green, and blue. The radius is default 100 for all of these um, arrows. So now we have this simulation result which we run using the Grasshopper inside Archicad. So we are able to document this. So you even on floor plan you can just document the values. And also if in case you want to you know enter or bring the values of each of these arrow, which is the velocity of the wind, you can bring that and then you can tabulate them inside Archicad also. So currently I'm just showing the wind direction along with its velocity, translating it to the length of these arrows. Okay, so let me just go back. I think it's still running. Okay, so let me just try to kill this so that I can move on to the next topic, or I can open this a little later and then show you the results. Sorry about that. Okay, so let me just move on to the next topic and then I will come back to this a little later. All right, so here is the URL using which you can download the weather data. So you can scan the QR code here shown so that you can reach out to the weather URL for downloading the weather data. Okay. So the next is windrow study. So again, we are going to use the Archicad BIM model, and we are going to take the model. But the for windrow study, right? So you need not have the morph, but if in case you're going to document using the Rhino, you can take the model from Archicad and then you can document using Rhino. But only the location is very important for this windrow study. So using the location, we can get the results of windrows data or windrows graph, and then we are going to document that again in Archicad just using the Rhino-Grasshopper plugin. So here is the QR code to download the Ladybug tool. So let me go back to the model that I'm going to use for windrow study. So this is the model that I'm going to use. And then let me open Rhino-Grasshopper. Let me break the connection and then close this model. Let me also close this model. Right, it's opening the Rhino. Okay, so here I have my windrow study model or the script. Let me just open that. So if you're using Archicad 25, you can turn on the connection from here itself. But in Archicad 26, they have moved this to Windows palettes here to the Grasshopper connection. All right, so here is my script. Okay, let me just close this and open. I'm having issues establishing the connection here. Okay, let me just close Archicad and open again. Alright, so while it is opening, let me try to explain the script here. So the first thing that we need to get for this windrow study is the weather URL from where we can get the wind data. So as I told earlier, so you can go to this weather URL or ladybug.tools EPW map from where you can get the weather URL. So when you copy the link here, you can paste it inside the panel here, and then you can pass it into this weather URL node, which can get the weather data. So here we need the wind speed and then the wind direction, so which I'm using here, and then I'm creating this windrow simulation, which is the windrow simulation graph. So for this we need to give some input. So here you can see we have given the north direction, we have given the counts of divisions that you need to have on your map. So let me just show the map so that it's a bit clear for you guys as well. So you can see this is the map. So you can see here we have 36 divisions on this entire circles here. So that's the divisions that you can you can manually enter, and then you can choose the point at which you want to have your windrow simulation drawing. Say for example, if it's at your project location, right? So if you want to have your project mass model and around which you want to have this simulation graph, you can choose that particular point at this center point. And then here is where you can run the script. And then for the time period, so you can see here you can enter the time period. I'm using you can give the month, date and hour for start and then the end, or else you can just give the month, so start month and end month, so it will just calculate for the entire month. But if you give the date, time and hour, it will just do within that particular date and time and hour. But if it is for the entire year, or for just few months in between, or summer or winter, you can use these options. So you can see here I have here options here for summer, winter, entire year and custom. So these are the four input types that I have given as a period here. So if it is summer, it will just take this particular one, and if it is winter, it takes from here, and if it is entire year, I just have keyed in the values here for the entire year from starting month to the ending month. Okay, so end, yeah, let me just give, yeah, here is the end month. So you can key in like until 12 the end month. Okay, so if I select here, you can see here this particular data is selected. So now we are able to get this drawing, and this drawing we need to get it inside Archicad. So for that we need to use some tools here. So let me just go back to the Grasshopper. So there are few data. So when you export, right, so you can see here we have this circles, we have this legend, we have this text, and we also have some graph components here. So for the circles, I'm going to use the morph tool so that I can see the circles on 3D as well. Okay, and then for these legends, and then for these graph fills here, I'm using an object. So there are going to be two types of object. One object having four corner points. So here you can see here on the legend we have four corner points, and also in these external portions we have four corner points, and on the inside, which is the innermost circle, we have three corner points for this fill. Okay, so it's not four corner point on this inside circle. So we are going to have one object for this triangular object and the one for this one for four corner points. And we are going to use the text to place the text around this drawing inside Archicad. So you can see them here. Yeah, the model is opening. So you can see here I'm using this create lines, which is using the morph. So I've created the morph using the if I've created the circles using the morph line, and then I have notes for creating my text here. So you can see all the text around the legends and then the description and all that, the directions and all are created using the text. And then for creating the fills inside the legend as well as inside the graph, I'm using two different types of objects. One is having four corner points, so you can see here all the corner points are entered as coordinates here, and for three corner points also we have this object. Okay, so let me try to establish the connection. All right, so let me start the connection. Okay, so the data is translated. So let me just go to 3D. So I have the circle lines here. And then for the text, maybe I turn on and turn off. That the data is being transferred. Okay, let me just about it. So actually, it's taking a while. Sorry about that. Maybe next week I'll try to show the results inside Archicad for both the simulations. But this is the idea behind. So we are just doing the simulation within Grasshopper, and then we are going to take this results back inside Archicad for doing the simulations. Sorry that I'm not able to show the results inside Archicad this week because there are some issues with the connection. So it's still aborting. I'm not able to stop the connection. Um, so for both the results, I'll try to show next week before we start the session for the sun simulation. So I'll just go back to the presentation now. Okay, it looks like it is. Yeah, I can see the results now. So let me just do that again. Okay, so I will try to show this results today. Yeah, it's still working. Let me do the connection one more time. Yeah, so you can see the results here on level one. So we have the text that has been created inside the Rhino-Grasshopper, and then along with the text here. So the text for the legend is still not here. So you can see your mass model or your building here around which we have this windrow study. So if you see, let me just yeah, so you can see the legends here and also the wind direction along with its speed in each of these directions. So currently we have given the 36 divisions. So on each of these divisions, what is the wind speed it is giving, and you can see the description here as well. So the for the legends, we need to have the speed along with this legends here. So let me just check one more time why it is still not visible. Okay, so it just shows the legend. Legend goes here. So I have the values here. Okay, so let me just check why the legends values are not here. Maybe I'll just check the font size. Let's make it. Yeah, yeah. So the legend values are here already. Okay, so you can see here all this these are all objects that I've used, and then from the object you can see the values are being entered by the grasshopper itself. So for this you can see I need to enter the x y z values, and then I used on using these values, these objects will be placed exactly in that location. Okay, so that's how it works. So sorry, there were some issues in between, but we are able to still get the results inside Archicad for this windrow study. And for the wind tunnel effect, I will try to show it in the starting of the next session. Sorry about that. So let me go back to the presentation. So do follow us on social media for more information. So we also have a YouTube channel where we are posting all our recordings on the channel. So if you need to watch these recordings and then do want to implement these workflows on your project, you can just watch those videos, or you can even reach out to us for any questions or if you need any help on these.